This season has been so much fun that I have decided to begin a new series on the channel. Stock up, stock down. Pretty straightforward concept. We'll talk on a weekly basis about whose stock is trending up and whose stock may unfortunately be trending in the opposite direction. With that in mind, I can't wait to dive in. Stock up, Evan Mobley's confidence from the perimeter. Since the very day that Evan Mobley was drafted, folks, including myself, have been clamoring for him to attempt a three-point shot with more regularity. Well, folks, that is finally happening to a degree. There is a pretty sizable difference between his perimeter production 22 games into this season versus 22 games into last year. He was just 2 of 10 through his first 22 games in 2023-24, and he has 16 of 46 through 22 appearances this season.
The Cavaliers are looking to get Donovan a little more involved offensively. They just need to get some of that firepower going. Mobley cans a three. Duran left him out there a little too long.
Mobley is attempting 2.1 per game so far. Through the same span of appearances last year, he was attempting just 0.5, half a shot per game. While we would all like Mobley to continue to take this shot with more volume, I can live with 2.1 per game at the moment. And this is coming from somebody who originally thought the big man would be taking like 3 to 4 per game under Kenny Atkinson. And here's the thing, it's not as if these are coming on occasion. He has attempted 3 triples in 9 of his 22 games, and he's only logged 2 contests with no attempts period. He is clearly a lot more comfortable taking the shot when the defense allows it, and trust me, they allow it all the time. 16 of his 41 attempts have been deemed what the NBA considers open, and what's even more telling is that 25 of them have been considered wide open. Opposing defenders do not trust his ability to knock down the open triple and will concede it to him in an effort to double someone else. And to be honest with you, I can't always argue with that defensive strategy because it has worked earlier on in his career because he's just not been known as a noted three-point marksman. But little by little, slowly but surely, Mobley is becoming a confident shooter. That said, I do remain upbeat about this aspect of his game because I am simply just happy he has the confidence to take them. He is relocating, he's catching and shooting on the move, he's had a pretty clean form, and in my eyes, it's only a matter of time before he begins to seriously improve. In terms of the way it's being taken, Mobley is almost exclusively a catch and shooter. You will not see him pull up on opponents with regularity outside of the occasional end of shot clock scenario. He's only taken 7 pull-up triples to boot. It's just not part of his bag yet, but you know what? If it ever becomes a regular weapon in his arsenal, defenses beware. And I don't have to tell you the benefits of Evan Mobley becoming a viable floor stretcher. You guys know. Stock up Isaac Okoro's pick and roll potential. It seems that Kenny Atkinson and his coaching staff weren't actually blowing smoke up our collective backsides. They are indeed using Isaac Okoro as a roll man, and while that's not being spammed, Okoro has slowly but surely been utilized as a screener, and he's rolled downhill. That could be big not only for the offense, but for Isaac Okoro's offensive development and usefulness. It takes advantage of his abilities to generate pressure on the rim, cut to the basket, and perhaps most importantly, his ability to facilitate on the move. Something that's become a bit underrated within his offensive skill set. He has always shown that he can actually make the right reads when given the opportunities to do so, and that's exactly what he's been doing in this situation. Isaac Okoro has developed a solid feel for where the big will be, whether they are cutting baseline from the corner or in the dunker spot. Hell, he's already dished out a handful of slick feeds to Jared Allen in this way this season. Also, I'd probably be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that Isaac has been phenomenal as a three-point shooter this season, showcasing immense confidence in his ability as a perimeter marksman. He's been an effective catch and shoot threat, drilling 44.9% of his catch and shoot looks from beyond the arc this year, and perhaps most importantly, he is finally making defenses pay for leaving him open. Mr. Okoro has canned 51.1% of his wide open triples. We are still early into the season, but that's a substantial leap over the 38.8% that he made just last year. He will continue to have naysayers given his draft slot and his playoff struggles, but a great postseason showing can cure that and would make this contract seem like a great deal. Stock down Dean Wade's three-point production. Ladies and gentlemen, it is good to see Dean Wade out there. It truly is, after he missed 6 straight games between November 19th and December 1st. That said, his 3-point production, or rather 3-point percentage, has fallen off the proverbial cliff. He's appeared in 15 out of a possible 23 games for the Cavs this season, and in the first 8, he shot 35.3% on roughly 4.3 attempts. Not great, but not truly terrible. In his last 7, however, Wade has managed just 26.9% of his 3-point looks and completed just 27.6% of his total field goal attempts. No bueno. In fact, he's averaging just 3.6 points per game over the last 7 outings. He has indeed managed to make an impact in other ways, like the fact that he has limited his opposition to 17 of 43, or rather 39.5% from the field during that span. Or the fact that he's pulled down 4.1 rebounds as well, the 4th most on the team. But that will only do so much. He's seen the court for over 19.6 minutes per game in his last 7 and 21.5 minutes per game on the season as a whole. If Wade is to continue to receive a high amount of minutes off the bench, he will need to begin to knock down the shot at a much higher clip. With so many players deserving of minutes in this suddenly deep Cavs rotation, Wade could be at risk of losing some of his playtime if his shot continues to clank off the rim. He's getting the space. That cannot be debated. 43 of his 60 total attempts have been considered wide open, and they are being taken within the flow of the offense. Many of them coming off of phenomenal ball movement or slick feeds from a teammate. All but 3 of his shot attempts from range have been of the catch and shoot variety at that. He's being set up well, just gotta knock him down. That's all there is to it. The good news is that the confidence doesn't seem to be waning too much, as evidenced by the fact that he's taken 4 or more in 4 out of his last 5. Oh, and the Cavs are 15-0 when he plays this year, so there's that. Stock down. Jaylen Tyson's playtime. So this one is a bit of a guess, but unfortunately, I think it's probably going to be the reality of things at the moment. With Cleveland returning closer and closer to full strength, finding minutes for Cleveland's youngsters may prove a difficult task. That means that we are likely to see Jaylen Tyson sporadically from here on out as long as the mainline rotation pieces stay healthy. There are just too many mouths to feed for him to find consistent minutes. It's not really his fault either, it's just a deep rotation. It's just a bit of a bummer considering that he was getting some run and doing some impactful things with it prior to the return of Caris LeVert and Dean Wade. And don't get me wrong, it's not as if he was getting a ton of playtime, but Kenny Atkinson was turning to him at times. He is still prone to the occasional rookie mishap, but I quite enjoyed watching him rebound the basketball and play some very underrated defense.
Young underneath, bounces off to Daniels. Ty Jerome has re-entered. Hunter works on Tyson. Tyson stayed right with him. Hunter has to take a tough shot. A loose ball is grabbed. Bufkin wanted no part of Tyson that time. He'll deal off to Hunter late in the shot clock. He'll fire him a 9-1-1 3, but it's Bufkin who gets there. Excellent defense by Jaylen Tyson.
So far, Tyson has managed to hold his opponents to 17 of 48, or rather 35.4% from the field, including 3 of 22 from 3-point distance. He's gonna earn a rotation spot sooner or later, but for now, he'll likely be rendered a bench warmer unless a blowout or injury occurs. Nothing wrong with that though. Slow and steady wins the race. That'll do it, folks. What do you think? Whose stock is up the highest this season? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, go Cavs.